One of my fondest memories from childhood was watching a Charlie Chaplin film for the first time. It was with my parents, my sister, and my grandmother. It was a film that all three generations could enjoy. I remember loving the movie. It was the first time that I heard my grandmother gut laugh. I knew even then, I said, you know, when I grow up, I want to see if I can do something where I can create that type of connection too for people. I think when a film doesn't have any dialogue, it requires the audience to engage with it and interact in a slightly different way. To complete the story, you have to almost imagine the inner monologue of the characters or create your own imaginary dialogue. But in doing so, you're drawing from your own experiences and your own emotions, and I think the way you connect to characters in the silent film kind of way is a very special one.
Même s'il n'y avait pas de dialogue, j'ai quand même fait comme des impressions et j'ai créé mes propres dialogues pour l'histoire.
Il n'y a pas de dialogue, donc chacun fait son voyage intérieur différemment.
De se faire raconter une histoire sans que le langage soit là entre nous et l'histoire. Je trouvais que ça laisse énormément de place aux émotions, à la méditation, tout ça. Donc, une grande richesse dans ce choix-là.
Chacun est capable de se retrouver à quelque part dans ce film-là. Et que c'est pas seulement pour les enfants, c'est pour tout le monde, toute la famille.
We knew that it would be dialogue-free quite early in the script process. And at the same time, Eric had been performing Storyville Mosquito. So he invited me to his Toronto show. And when I watched it and saw the magic that he could create with puppetry, without any dialogue, it instantly drew me to this idea of a film that had that same quality.
Euphonia Must Fall and the Storyville Mosquito are live films that we do in one take with miniature sets and puppets and live scoring. I was blown away by how the puppeteers could create so much emotion with sometimes just the smallest gesture or slightest tilt of the head. When we move to animation, we specifically try not to move every articulation point. Rather, okay, let's just focus on the ones that will give us the most emotional impact and let that do the talking, so to speak.
Mylène Chollet, c'était notre scénariste depuis le début. Même avant qu'elle sache qu'elle allait être la scénariste sur ce projet-là. Le défi était grand d'adapter un long métrage d'animation sans dialogue.
Quand j'ai dit oui à ce projet-là, j'étais terrifiée. Et mon art s'exprime à travers les gens qui parlent. Là, dans ce cas-ci, je n'avais pas ce recours-là.
Chaque petit moment que Mylène avait économisé, récolté, avait toute son importance.
Je voulais préserver ce qui était l'essence de ce qu'Éric avait créé, qui était au départ une petite fille qui va à la poursuite de ses rêves et qui est obligée de laisser celui qui a pris soin d'elle derrière. La plupart des choses qu'il y a dans le film étaient entre les pages du livre d'Éric. C'était pas qu'un roman graphique, c'est littéralement un album musical, un peu comme quand on était gosse, il y avait un CD, donc il y a une trame et il faut tourner les pages au rythme des pièces musicales qui sont évoquées. Évidemment, la musique a été pour moi d'un grand secours parce qu'elle était éloquente d'elle-même.
Et ça nous a fait vraiment rigoler de réaliser qu'on faisait un film sans dialogue, mais que nous, on était devenus des moulins à parole parce qu'il fallait tout expliquer ce qu'il y avait derrière chaque agissement, chaque mouvement.
With Robot, he's essentially a hamburger with two eyes. And so we used very subtle expressions in his eyes, in the eyelids specifically, to give him his sense of wonder or anxiety or worry or fear.
I loved the robot's eyes. That's really what stood out to me, of how much emotion was able to be poured out of this robotic character with just these moving lenses.
And we recognized too that a lot of it was in large body movements for him, just like a silent film emoting with the full body. And so it didn't become just expressions with the face, but how he would use his posture, his arms, the turning of his body to also emote and bring life. With Celeste, it was a little bit easier because she had a mouth and eyes and typical human features. So a lot of it was drawing some of the expressions that she could have and trying to figure out the range that she could go where it was still muted and gentle enough that it reflected the tranquility of Eric's films and style. I would just kind of draw everything that I could to explain to the CG team how to execute those kinds of expressions. In general, we would try to emote everything through the full body movement of the character and a slowness and a stillness with the pacing of the way the characters were moving or acting. Working with the animators, we knew we needed to find a way to convey this style of acting. The easiest thing is if Eric acted out what he wanted. He worked for several weeks shooting with these large cardboard sets that kind of replicated the scenes, the specific acting he wanted. So he was essentially showing the team this kind of director's viewpoint as actor for the scenes with robots. So I think the first scene that he tried was breakfast. He was making toast and had all of these props out, and through just that simple scene and seeing how he would act, you really got a sense of how robot would do it.
We realized that we needed to operate with constraint. Even though we had a lot of freedom of stuff to do visually, we were constraining the motion to what a puppet would do by Eric and his team. So that is hopefully what people see and perceive when they see this movie.
The amazing emotion you can get through puppetry, through non-dialogue acting, that creates a very impactful emotional resonance with audiences. I think because actually a blank canvas, in a sense, when you don't know too much of the specificities of the characters, allows you to embody them a little bit more.